Keith Thurman's newest plans. We get to that next. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers. Welcome to the Hot Stove, the Keith Thurman edition. The truth about Keith Thurman. So Keith Thurman just said that he gets back in 2019, and 2020 is for Spence and Crawford. Keith Thurman, who's now 30, has literally wasted away his prime years. Think about it. He said just last year, remember, he said originally he had a 3-fight plan. He was going to take a tune-up early in the year in January. Mid-year, he was going to take a rematch with Porter. And year-end, Thurman, he said he was going to fight possibly Errol Spence. So that was his plan for 2018. Obviously, he fought 0 times that year, and later on, he said that fighting Spence wasn't discussable. It wasn't even on the plate. Not going to happen. Remember? This was in late 2018. Not going to happen, baby. Okay? That's what he said. So that was a quick change. Let's run down the Keith Thurman waste of time, run time timeline. That's the Keith Thurman waste of time, run time timeline. In October of 2017, so over a year ago now, about 14 months ago, he told WBC he was going to fight 3 times and be back in January of 2018, a year ago. That became February or March, but definitely the first quarter, and he was still going to fight 3 times. That became April 14th at the Barclays Center against Jesse Vargas, signed, sealed, and delivered, as per Dan Raphael on ESPN. And he was a 2-time-a-year fighter, so went from 3 times in January to twice, and he's going to fight April 14th against Jesse Vargas. Then, to the surprise of everyone, including Jesse Vargas, he ducked that smoke. And that signed, sealed, and delivered April 14th date at the Barclays quickly became May 5th at the Barclays against an unnamed opponent, but certainly, as Keith Thurman said, no one in the top 10 in the welterweight division. 8 weeks out before that date, there's no opponent named and no tickets on sale. And Keefy Poo suffers an amazing hand injury out of nowhere, a bruised bone on his hand out of the clear blue sky. That cancels his fight against no one in particular with no ticket on sale. Remember, we predicted this all along. So a grand total of 0 fights, but 2 fake injuries in 2018 for Keefy Poo. He said Jesse Vargas was a tune-up, but then ducked that smoke by faking an injury. He has now said he doesn't respect Terrence Crawford at 147. Then fight him straight away. Right? He's the pound-for-pound king of the sport and the WBO champ. If you can beat him, and he's not even respectable to you at this weight, go fight him straight away. What's the problem? Because you aren't going to fight him in either 2019 or 2020. Or probably ever. You'll fight once again in 2019, maybe. And we'll see you in 2020. And you'll probably need another tune-up fight at that point. Because that's what you do now. And then the same story. Look, he said, I'm going to fight Spence and Bud in 2020. But they're no good, right? Spence is no good. Crawford's no good. But he needs a year to tune up for him after taking a year off ducking them. If they're no good, just fight them, right? So I need years to avoid them, and then I need a year of tune-ups, right? I need 2 years to avoid these guys, and then I need a year of tune-ups to get ready for them. But they're no good. Let's look at Keith Thurman's fake injury timeline. March of 2018, he defeats Danny Garcia in front of nearly 5 million viewers at the Barclays Center. 5 million live viewers, television viewers, at the Barclays Center in front of the biggest crowd that the Barclays Center has ever had for boxing at that point. He unified his paper WBA belt against Danny Garcia's WBC belt and captured Danny Garcia's WBC belt. He then had surgery to repair loose bodies in his elbow, according to him. But let's get into that. So loose elbows, loose bodies in your elbow. According to the AAOS, the American Association of Orthopedic Surgeons, this takes a couple of weeks to completely heal from. Again, it's not a surgery. I'm not making this up. I'll include a link. Full range of motion could return the next day. It's a simple outpatient procedure. It's not a surgery. So when he says he's had surgery, he's not telling the truth. You go in, they scope you, you're in and out in the same day. The reason why people opt for microscopic surgery as opposed to other surgeries is the relatively quick healing time and the recovery time. So then 8 weeks out before his fight, against no one in particular, with no tickets on sale. That was never going to happen, obviously. Back in February, he suffers a bruised bone on his hand. Recovery time for this, 1 to 2 months of rest. No surgery, nothing like that. It's a bruised bone on your hand. There's nothing you can do about it. He has been out 10 months with this injury. That the estimated recovery time is 1 to 2 months. So I want to talk about this. He had his loose bodies removed from his elbow at the Hospital of Special Surgeries in New York City. The finest orthopedic surgeons in the world operate there. And then he had a bruised bone. So he had surgery that takes probably 2 weeks to heal from, and a bruised bone that takes a month or two. So let's say, all in all, those two injuries would take 10 weeks to heal from, using the max amount of time. 8 weeks for the bruised bone and 2 weeks for the elbow, the loose bodies removed from the elbow. 10 weeks of recovery time. He's been out 10 months with just the hand bruise alone, and he's been out 2 years total. So 2 years for 2 injuries, which are highly questionable, especially the hand injury. Look, he's been out for 2 years for injuries that doctor said would take a few weeks, maybe a month or two. And he's been out 2 years. Come on. If you believe he's been out with actual injuries, and he's been too injured to fight, you're ridiculous at this point. You're being ridiculous. He said Jesse Vargas is a tune-up. Right? He said Jesse Vargas, the boxing voice asked him who he was going to fight in his comeback fight. He named Jesse Vargas. And they said, that's not really a tune-up. Keith Thurman laughed and said, he's a tune-up for me. But then he ducked them all together. He says he doesn't even respect Terrence Crawford, but he needs a whole year of tune-ups to get ready for him. He says he's the number 1 welterweight in the division. Moron. As opposed to being the best welterweight in a different division? So stupid. Then he signs to fight Josecito Lopez and needs another year of tune-ups to fight either of the guys that... He needs another year to tune up to fight guys he doesn't even respect. Look, he's fighting Josecito Lopez. He gave up his WBC belt because the WBC told him he had to fight Thurman and Danny Garcia. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. So he gave up his belt. He basically Riddick Bowe'd it. He threw it away. He said, I'm not going to fight those guys. I want to fight Josecito Lopez. That's what he's done. Come on, if you believe Keith Thurman is going to fight either Spence or Bud in 2019 or 2020, you're being ridiculous at this point. I mean that. Come on. When he beat Collazo in a heck of a scrap, and we thought he was on his way to being a star, Keith Thurman was on his way. He was only 26, just entering his prime. Well, now he's in his 30s, and he has fought twice since then. Twice. In 3.5 years. What a waste. Remember Aaron Pryor, who was a real man, a real champ, who fought everybody, not an effeminate, pathological liar like Keefy Poo? When Pryor got into the ring, he would go, what time is it? And everyone would say, Hawk time. When Keith Thurman gets in the ring, we should all say, what time is it? Run time. What time is it? Run time. It's just gotten ridiculous with him. I mean, this is a joke with him, really. In the last 2 years, your only fight is against Josecito Lopez. What an absolute waste of talent. Don't get it twisted. I don't knock him in the ring. I like his skills in the ring. Not once, not me, not never have I knocked him in the ring and said he's not a good fighter. He's an excellent fighter with a ton of skills, but he's mentally broken. Like, well, check it out. We've seen Errol Spence break you down so many fighters in the ring, right? Just break him down. He's broken Keefy Poo without ever getting in the ring with him. Hats off to Errol Spence. Look, Keith Thurman keeps calling himself a welterweight champion. He's not. He's a paper champion. Let me ask a pop quiz question. Who did Keith Thurman beat to get his WBC belt? Get his WBA belt? WBA world champion. Who did he beat? Give up? He didn't beat anybody. They elevated. He was a regular champ who they elevated to a world champ when Floyd Mayweather retired. And he was stripped of his WBC for refusing to defend it. That's the belt he won from Garcia. He refused to defend the belt. So he gave it up. And the only belt he has, he didn't win it, he was elevated to it, right? So he's not a real champion. So if you refuse to defend the belt that you won, and the other one that they gave to you, and will never take away from you, how are you a champion, right? It's like an honorary degree. You didn't earn it. right? He didn't earn it. He was elevated from WBA regular champ to WBA world champ. So they gave him the belt. And he doesn't have to defend it or anything. And they won't take it back from him. How is that a champion? I mean, let's be realistic. How is this a guy that you want to watch who won't defend his belt and throws him away? I mean, this is you guys tell me if I'm wrong and what you expect to see out of Keith Thurman. But that's the truth in Keith Thurman. Everything I said there is factual. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, comments below. What you expect to see out of Keith Thurman in 2019 and moving forward. Remember, he's 30 years old now. This is where we are with him. The 26-year-old who beat Collazo, who looked like he was just coming into his prime, is now in his 30s and has fought twice since then. Am I right? You guys agree with me? He's a complete waste of talent, that he's an effeminate, pathological liar? Let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe for a very special edition of the Hot Stove, the Keith Thurman edition. This is 3D Boxing signing off, saying thank you and God bless.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.